Perfect.
So, welcome everyone. As you can hear in the background, my church bell is ringing here. So we have it's 11. Welcome everyone. I'm really excited today because this is my first time with a guest. Roni is helping us today, and we're gonna talk about Neo4j and Python. So I got on my last streams we got some requests from people that they want to have more content around Neo4j and Python, how to get started with Flask and Neo4j, and someone recommended actually Roni's YouTube channel, which I can also paste into the chat while I'm talking, and so I reached out to him, and he was thankfully he offered to join us today. And we will have this interactive session, looking at Neo4j and Python. So I'm in Germany. Roni is also still in Germany, and let us know where you're from, because we have a small demo app where we need to add people to it. So if you're somewhere in the world, let us know in the chat where you're from, and we can, add your first name and city to the app as well. Hello, Daniel. Daniel is from Switzerland, so we have Daniel from Switzerland joining us. Welcome. Uh, and all the others, just share where you're from, and we can add you as well. Um, okay, and hey Alex from Munich, without further ado, I would hand over to Roni and give it a go, and I'll watch the chat and will mention anything that comes up in terms of questions and so on, and then we can get going. Okay, go for it.
Thanks everyone. Thanks Michael, and thanks Neo4j for having me for this session. I'm actually excited, super excited. I'm doing this Twitch session for the first time, but for last couple of years I was actually initially I was learning Neo4j, and then I thought of creating some contents over YouTube. So in that way actually my journey started. So I'm super excited to share my some experience with all of you guys. So if you guys feel something is also in the same way, or you can share your knowledge, or you can do kind of interactive session. So I'll happy to answer all your queries after the session or during the session. And if something is not possible, definitely we'll try to get back to you after the session. So without wasting much time, just a little bit about my intro. I'm right now based in Germany. It's a small city in Cologne. I'm working for one of the big four companies as a cybersecurity consultant, and due to my work areas within cybersecurity area, I have to I have to develop some sort of fraud analytics or anomaly detection application. And that time I came across this amazing application of Neo4j, and since then I was working with this thing. So the agenda of today's class or the session will be like this way. So I have already completed the intro. The second part will be the environment setup, and we'll be going to do very simple demo with normal Python, and after that we'll be going to set up one Flask application. I already did set up, so that I should not waste much time while doing this thing. And after that we'll be going to play around some sort of demo, and definitely some question answer, and again we can easily conclude the session. Okay. So next
Super.
slide is, as I said, is all about me. If you want to interact or send me connection invite, you can send me over LinkedIn, and my whole YouTube playlist also here. You can go and watch and give me some sort of feedback, so I can improve my qualities and contents as well in the future. And it's completely on Python with Neo4j.
And
And next part,
You also have a Udemy course, right, Roni?
yes, Udemy course is there, and but frankly speaking, the Udemy courses are having the same content whatever I put in YouTube, so it doesn't make sense to buy that course with some money. So if you are okay to go and watch my YouTube channel, it's fine. But same content is also available in uh, Udemy as well. Okay,
Yeah.
so some of the countries are not allowed to watch YouTube, so that is why I just created in that way. Okay.
Super, super. By the way, you should really get a Twitter account, so it's much easier to ping you on Twitter as well. So
Yeah,
that's
definitely. I will do it. So it's weird that I'm not having a Twitter account, but still I'm living in 2020. But I'll do it. Even I don't have an Instagram account. I'm only having Facebook and LinkedIn, but
yeah,
still I'm surviving. This is how it is.
yeah,
Okay.
cool.
Okay. Next thing is that first I'll just explain this slide, and then I'll just give you the quick hands-on. So we'll first set up Neo4j sandbox from this URL. You guys can make a note on this, and again, I think after the class we'll share the slides as well, so you guys can easily do it. It's very easy, and it's kind of a click, 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 and your environment will be completely set up. And after that, you will install Neo4j driver. And definitely Python is required. I don't have to say that. And any ID will work, but for the Flask part, I'll be going to use Jupyter. Sorry, for the Flask part, I'll be going to use VS Code, and for the normal Python syntaxes, I'll be going to use Jupyter Notebook, so it will be easier to understand the codes line by line. And so first thing today is going to be setting up the environment. So as I told you, once you did set up the environment, you will get something like this URL, and in the same thing, you will get your what do you say? Uh, your credential and all. So you have to just click, click, click with some few 4 or 5 next, your environment will be done. And after that, you will directly run through
Yeah,
this Neo4j browser. And after that, you can do whatever you want to do. For just for the testing purpose, I will show you guys here from, just let me know from my browser. Okay. So let me
yeah, you
open this
can leave
thing.
it like
So I
this.
have, so this is my Jupyter notebook. So first thing, as I told you, I'll be going to show you guys what are the different drivers available. So we're going to talk about only Neo4j driver. There are some other drivers are available. You can follow the documentation of Neo4j Python drivers. I think Py2Neo is one of the very useful driver as well, but we'll be going to use this Neo4j. So just because I am already installed this thing, it is showing the requirement already satisfied, but in your case you have to install this thing, and after that you can work. But before that, you have to have Python install, or else this will not work. Okay, it's a stupid thing I'm mentioning many times, but those are actually coming from college or still not familiar with this Python environment and all. For that, it is actually going to be very important.
Yep.
So first thing is I'll be going to run this thing. So this is the first statement, like how to import the module and what to use from this thing. Okay, so and after that you can create an driver object, and you can store this in a variable. So here, if you see, in your case you will get your own URL. I'm just using the hard-coded value of the Neo4j and this thing, but while doing the Flask application, I can show you guys how you can configure this thing. There are two
Mm.
ways of doing this thing. One way of doing is uh, very much you can say like it's a Flask standard, but I'm not going to do that. Flask standard is already available in the Flask documentation, so that I can give you some sort of different idea of doing it from a configuration file or some sort of CSV file. So you guys can also have this idea as well. So once this is done, like this thing, I'm going to run this thing. So our session object has been completely established. Now we can query using different things. So first of all, if you are familiar with normal Neo4j Cypher query, you know this query is going to give you what are the contents of your graph. So let me just minimize this thing and run the same query from here. So you'll be able to understand what is available in the graph actually. So if you see in my graph right now, having this three objects with this three name, Ronnie, Rob, and Jason.
Hmm.
So what I'll do, I'll just going to uh, print the full graph, so you guys able to understand what is there actually. So same thing I'm going to get from here, and I'm just, because I'm just here just printing or displaying the name, so only I got the name. So I'll
Yep.
try to explain the same thing again from the Jupyter notebook. I mean the Python thing, so it will be able to understand. So all of you are familiar with how to write multi-line string in Python. So this is not a multi-line, but again, if required, I can do it. So that is why just using this
Yeah.
many double quotes, and I'm
Because
putting
cipher
it
queries can
inside a
also get
variable.
bigger, right? So and then it's nicer to have it in multi-line, right?
Exactly. So that's the main reason. And after that, this is also very normal thing, how to run the Python, how to run the Cypher query from your um, Python code. So after you create your session object, you have to call this method, and you have to pass this as a parameter or argument, whatever you can call. And here it is going to run this thing. So what I'll do, I'll just run this thing. I have to run this thing. So in this way it is done. Now if I run this thing, execute this thing, it is going to print the same thing here as well. So let's try this thing. So if you
Yeah.
see, I got this three name, Ronnie, Rob, and Jason. So whatever you can do, you can do by your own. And this is very simple thing. So you guys can develop some sort of other intelligent logic or any other things. Like the main objective
Mm.
is that you have to uh, like properly formulate everything. For example, if you don't want the name, you want something else, you can do something like that. You can put some sort of other logic as well. That is also
Mm.
possible. So we'll see in the next part as well. Okay,
Can
so
you
next,
can you quickly show how you would do a parameter for the query?
yeah, that definitely it is there. Do you want me to do it
Yeah,
here
you can do
or
it
it is?
live in the. So if you do just, for instance, a where name equals dollar name or something like that.
Yeah, yes, we can do it. So for example, sorry, I did the wrong place. And suppose I just want to
T T
get
student
get the
with T.
yes. Oh, sorry. Suppose I want for
Yep.
Roni. Okay,
Yep.
so what you have to do? You have to create one more. Let's say X, something like this. Okay, and after that you have to use the same variable name here. Okay, name, and here you have to pass like,
So
and in
it's
the
just a
query,
dictionary with the
yes.
parameters.
So like this, and if I run this thing, it is only going to give my name. Okay,
Okay.
so let's run this thing. This
Super.
this, if you see Ronnie.
Right.
So let me change it to Rob. So let's run this thing again. So see, Rob is
Yeah.
coming. So
Cool.
in this way, you can parameterize this thing again. So you have to only
Yeah.
pass this dictionary, and you have to assign this to a variable, and after that you have to use this thing as a secondary argument or
Yeah.
parameter.
And that's also much more efficient because if you have Cypher queries with variables, it can reuse the query plan and doesn't have to
Exactly.
reparse the query.
In the application side, definitely when you're going to build some sort of application, this is actually going to help you. And even if you're doing some sort of like data science related or data driven application, that time also you have to use some sort of like parameterized thing, definitely. And you have to do multiple things. For example, the data sets will be like huge, and you have to do multiple like algorithm on using different Python libraries, and after that your data, you don't know, like probably there will be millions line of columns, and you have to iterate multiple times. So
Yeah.
for loops, dictionary parsing, and this sort of things are very unique, like while doing this thing.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so next thing is
Because
that,
you mentioned applications, just one quick word that I wanted to add is here for the simplicity of the example, we just use session run. For production applications, you would do a session read transaction, and then you get a callback function where you then do tx.run instead. So that's a more involved version of running this. But because this is like the intro level, getting started, we didn't want to overcomplicate the code here. And if you want to see more about how to use read transactions and write transactions, please refer to the API docs that I shared in the chat as well.
yes, maybe if you get some more responses from our YouTube channel or somewhere, we can create some subsequent session as well in the
Yeah,
future.
exactly. So if you're interested to see more of that, please also let us know in the chat so that we can continue with the session. Okay, sorry.
Okay,
Go.
cool. So next thing is that we are going to create some nodes. So first I will create a few nodes, and after that, probably if you guys are interested, I can add your name as well. So in the later on, we can use that as well.
Yeah, perhaps you
So
can use, because you already have Jason now, perhaps you can use Stephen from South Africa, from Cape Town. So we have Stephen with PH and from PH, Stephen, Stephen,
and he's from South Africa.
from Cape Town, yeah.
Okay, let me Cape
Cape,
Town.
without the T. Without the T, yeah, Cape, exactly. So, cool.
Mhm.
Let's see if this works.
Okay,
And
so
yeah, Stephen has an E, it doesn't matter. It's, uh, it's okay.
so let's write
Yep.
same thing, and we'll see now what is going to happen here. So sheep and city Cape Town, we'll see it from the Neo4j, like it's already created. I'm just going to return this thing here. It is going to return. So let's see from the graph, how does it look actually? Okay, so match and return in. So Stephen is here. It is not connected to anyone. And if you see, the city name is here, and name is Stephen. So we created from here, and it is written. So it's very easy. Like if you are familiar with Cypher, and if you know little bit of Python, you can do anything. You can create your own
Yeah.
application. You can do multiple analytics. You can do lots of interesting projects. There are multiple numbers of use cases are available from Neo4j community. You can just play around with this thing, and like those materials are useful. So it will take not much time to master and expert these technologies.
Yeah, it's really cool because you can do like little command line applications as
Mhm.
utilities. You can do web applications. You can do data science notebooks. So it's really Python is really useful for all these kind of things to quickly get things up and running and
Mhm.
connect. Also because it has this rich ecosystem of libraries as well that do all the other things like pandas and NumPy and so on, which gives you all the additional benefits, right? So that's
Exactly.
cool. Okay,
Exactly.
cool.
Okay, so now we'll update something for, we created something for Stephen. Now I'm going to update something for Stephen as well. So let me just change the name here. So we created something, but Stephen has no company as assigned with him. So I'm going to give him some company here. So Stephen, okay, and it's going to give the company as a Neo4j. It doesn't matter. So
Yeah. So we
let
just find
me
a node with this name and then we update one property
exactly.
to a new value.
So like this. So this and so see Stephen, City Cape Town, company Neo4j. I'll be going to run the same thing again from here. So now you'll see one more properties will be added
Mm.
here.
You
So
can
it is
just
already
click on the
there, but just
rerun button. There's on the right. Besides the X, there's a rerun button. Can you see that? The little circle to the right of your mouse. Uh, so there's the X, and
here.
besides the X, there's a rerun. You can just rerun it in the same frame.
You mean this one?
Yeah, exactly. If you click this, then it just runs the same query again.
Yep. Okay. So if you see here, so one more property has been
Yeah,
like added. Okay.
cool.
So I believe there is one more thing that is for we'll be going to add one relationship for Stephen. So we'll be going to add something. So let's try to add some relationship because if you see here, I've already Rob is connected to Ronnie. Sorry, Ronnie is connected to Rob and Rob is connected. So I'll just going to add Stephen with Ronnie. So what I'll do now, uh, uh, how to add relationships. So I'll change the thing, Stephen, or maybe I can change this part here, and maybe I can change Stephen and this is actually same thing, but
But
you
creates a
you guys
relationship.
probably did this maybe millions of times from Cypher. I'm just doing the same thing. If you carefully watch this thing, there's the same
Mm.
thing. I'm just writing 3 extra line of code
Yeah.
for doing this thing with Python, right? Okay, so what will happen now? So Ronnie will be connected to Stephen. So what will be happen? So there will be one more arrow and it will be connected to Stephen. So I'll be just going to establish the relationship. So
Yeah.
let's run this thing, this and run this query. So it's done. So let's,
Yeah.
okay, perfect.
Super.
So it's there. So all these things are done. Like if with simple Python, whatever you can do is like it requires actually very minimal knowledge about Cypher. Then after that, you can just explore by running through the Cypher documentation. So actually, I learned by reading the Cypher documentation, and it is amazing. All queries are very detailed, like in a detailed way explained and written over there, and all the use cases are you can easily get it from the Cypher documentation. Like every query, every keyword, every clause, every function, everything is like explained in a detailed way. So you guys don't get much trouble.
Yeah.
So probably I think let me
I
check
put the
what
links
emails.
to the docs as well, and there's also the Cypher ref card, which is super helpful as well.
Yes. So mhm.
Ref card current, and welcome Jonathan from France. Current, I think that's the right link. I just typed it in. Let's see. Cool, super. Yep.
So I believe I completed the initial Python part. Now the most like interesting part will come. So just because we created one more like node with Stephen, so this no this graph is not relevant anymore. But again, you can just think this our reference graph. So what I'm just gonna do now, I'll be just going to show you guys how to develop one Flask application, and you can connect Flask with Neo4j. So I'll be going to bit kind of explain the structure of the application, and after that we'll just
Yeah.
going to run through the
Super.
code. Okay. So I believe all of you are familiar with Flask. If not, doesn't matter. It's very easy. Like if you follow the documentation, again, everything is written there. So again, for the Flask thing, you definitely need this Flask library. Pip install Flask is going to help you to install that. But if you are not able to install, probably there is some other things you have to either update your setup tools or something like that. All these are Python related logistics. You can get some answer from Stack Overflow or other GitHub. And next thing is that graph database, and one more additional thing is CSV. Why I need the CSV? I'll just going to show you. So this part of code is it's very basic code, but as I told you, I'm not going to hard code this connection string over here. I just reading everything now from CSV. There is a Flask way of doing it, that part as well. But in most of the like application, they just want to use something the CSV file so that they can
Mm.
change whatever time they require. So it's a good practice. You can create in this way, but if you are not if you don't like, you can do in a different way. It doesn't matter
Yeah, I guess
until this
in
part.
most cloud environments you would probably use environment variables where you then
Exactly,
configure the
environment
environment.
variable is also like good in a big company or production environment is also that
Yeah,
way.
cool.
So until this part, if you see, is almost same, right? So whatever we did, so we are just creating the session object, and after that we'll be going to run the query. But for the
Yeah,
Flask, something internal is there. You have to create the Flask application name, and after that you have to use this decorated function, and decorated function with some sort of endpoint. You can call it as API endpoint. It doesn't matter. It's endpoint, and you have to use this get and post method. And whenever you are going to talk about Flux, definitely your API endpoint is ultimately going to open some sort of HTML file. So uh, let me explain this thing from the HTML file first, so it will be easier. So let me. So my HTML file is index.html. So I don't think I would require much time to explain this HTML because it doesn't matter. So okay,
it's
so
just
we
a form.
created this
Yeah.
Flask application. So this is one label, just simple application, nothing fancy. I didn't use any Bootstrap, and don't use any
Mm.
Angular or any JavaScript library to make it like eye-catchy and look nice. Just
Yeah.
simple HTML with some sort of like Flask Jinja template. I'm using Jinja template, so I'll explain that what is Jinja and how you can use this. And probably this button while clicking this button, it will give you the full graph. It is going to give you one how to find one property for this name, and this is going to give you the friend name, so who is
Okay.
actually friends of a person who you are going to give. So this kind of a dynamic thing. This is one
Mm.
simple application functionality, and after this two things are going to be kind
Yeah.
of dynamic, like you can pass your own
Um.
input parameter, and you
Yeah.
can get the response. All response will be written as a JSON response, and after that I'll show you guys how to like render those JSON response in the Flask template, Flask Jinja template, and after that how to display that like kind of a readable format, like from variable from Flask backend to again HTML. So that is going to be interesting. So you are going
Yeah.
to query using Neo4j using Cypher. From Cypher you are getting a response to your Python function, and from the function you are again send it back to the your front end, and from there how the Jinja template is going to capture that is going to we'll be going to see.
Okay.
So if you see here
By the way, you have a typo there. It says graph. The P and the H is the P and the A is flipped. Uh, line 10. Can you see that?
here,
On line 10, the
yes,
P and
yes,
the
right.
A are flipped. So you can also show if you now save it and reload in the web page, then it should also show the
Yeah,
change
I think
immediately.
I'm using live server, so it should reload, but again let me check.
Yeah,
Yes,
super.
so it's there. So
Yeah,
fine.
looks
So
good.
what I'll do, but I need to like just because of Flask application, I need to what I'll do, I need to rerun it from here. It's running,
Cool.
so I've just refresh. Fine. Okay.
Yeah,
So
super.
let me explain this thing here, what I'm doing actually, then it will be easier. So let me open the Python code first. So so what is happening here? I'm just checking the request is post or not. If it is post, then it will do something. If it is not post, it is actually going to load the index.html. So when you are opening this first page for the first time, it is not a post application because you have not clicked any button. So that is why, on you're not sending anything to the server. So that is why it's the home page or the main page is getting
Yeah.
loaded with the graph endpoint. So this is normal, and the main thing is our case will be here. So there are
Yeah.
multiple if and else thing, but in the real world application scenario, you can create class and you can create multiple, sorry, you can create object of this class, and after that you can just do a lot of things. But I think for doing this introductory session, if I create class and after that, then it will actually going to create some sort of
Mm.
like understanding problem for the audience. But the actual in the company or in the enterprise level, they always like to go via object oriented concepts. So it is always use that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So
on the
next.
index HTML page, it's just a HTML form with submit buttons and some input fields, right?
Exactly. So no validation or JavaScript, nothing. So I believe you guys can know, because
Yeah.
JavaScript validation is always same in any application. So I
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
use that as well. So just how to get the data from Neo4j, how to send it back to Python from their Flask, and after that display.
Yeah.
So if you see in here, actually I'm trying to I'm just going to write the full query for showing whatever there in the graph, and after that I'm just going to run. So until this part, you guys are familiar with this thing because you already know. We have seen few minutes ago, and now the next part is going to be very interesting. What is happening here? So what is happening here? I just create a blank list, and again I'm not using list comprehension. You will ask me like why I did this thing. So again, you can do this sort of a lot of logic to create some intelligent logic, but that is not the objective. So you can do that the sort of things. I'm just going to break down how I'm actually happening. So once you get this result, you are I'm going to hold this name of that person and the city inside a variable, and after that I'm just creating a blank list dictionary here. Every time in the blank dictionary, I'm just going to append this thing, and once this is done, the blank dictionary is having some value, and this dictionary value is going to append to a list which is actually blank. But after every time appending, so all our element will be available inside a list, and each list is going to contain one a dictionary object. So every item inside a list will be a separate dictionary object. So dictionary object means if I have a four node, every node have a name and city, and those values will be going to be saved over here. And after that, I'm just going to write print just to showcase you guys that what is actually coming, but it doesn't matter. And after that, I'm just rendering template. Render template means that if you create a HTML file, but it is a template, means it will have some sort of variable so that it can display something based on the input or based on the response is getting written from the server. And I'm sending this list variable, and in the variable is going to hold this list graph. And what is this render template results.html? So let me open this thing. So whenever there is a post request and someone is going to see the full graph, that button is clicked, it is going to display this HTML. So what is happening here? So dict items in list. So dict item, again the normal Python for loop again, right? This is a list. So I just created, you can give any names, and after that what I'm doing, so name is going to be this if you are going to use this braces, it means some sort of variable. Okay, so that is why in Jinja it is going to be used. So this template is called Jinja template, and Flask supports by default Jinja template. You don't have to use anything or install anything. If you are using some other like programming language or library, probably that time you need to install explicitly using Node or something else, but Python is not required. If you are using Flask, it's by default ships with Flask. And after that, dix item names and is this, and city means this. So normal dictionary thing. So when I'll be going to run through this code, then you guys able to understand what is happening. But if you see here by seeing this thing, it is kind of variable. It's not kind of variable. It's actually going variable only, but it is getting the value from
The
here,
list. Yeah.
from here. And what is this graph contains? Graph content is this thing, name
Dictionaries.
colon name, city colon city. So what I'll
Yeah.
do, I'll just run through this. So let me just quickly here, so we can see the print statement as well. So it is running already. So I need to just come here, and I have to just click on this thing. So if you see, name is Roni, city colon, name Rob, city London, name Jason, city Singapore, name Seaton, city Cape Town. So if I come and see here, see, this is the thing actually, which is holding this value of graph.
Yeah.
See, this is the value of the graph, and we are doing for looping, and but that for looping is happening from the HTML page. So this is the beauty of Flask and Python together. So you can for looping The same logic you are going to apply here, but if you see here, I'm using this Ginger template to do this thing. So whatever variable, n numbers of variable, you can do multiple things using this simple logic, right? So I believe for the first time it is actually difficult to understand. I also face the same issue, but I like one personal recommendation and humble request that guys try to do some sort of practice. It will be like easy after 2 or 3 times. You can do multiple things, but the more you are able to do practice, it will give you some sort of additional confidence. Like by watching this thing, you will get the intuition like how to do this thing, but ultimately you will master or expertise your skill by practicing. So
Yeah,
please do
especially if
practice.
you use your own data and your own use case, then
Exactly.
it's very common. There's one thing that I want to mention, Roni, is if you go back to the Flask route, um,
Yes,
what is actually recommended is to create a new session for each request, because the session is like an temporary object. So
exactly,
usually what you would do
exactly.
is in the request handling, you would create a session, run the
Mhm,
query, and then do session close. So because the session is just
mhm,
temporary holding a connection, and when you use
mhm,
the session, then you give it back to the
mhm,
connection pool. So that's how you would usually do this. So you would create a driver once, but then the session
mhm,
is created for each request. So because it's a lightweight connection pool wrapper, so you would do basically before you do session run, you would do driver session and then session run retransaction, and then at the end, after you extracted the results, you do session close. Um, so just for the people watching. Uh, hey Ayusha, where are you from? Good to see you. So that what it's what you would do in a real world app. You would kind of create the session within the request and close it after you extracted the results, right? So that's just one, because otherwise you can get problems with, for instance, if you have multiple users running concurrent requests, then the session would be used from concurrent requests and it would break, right? So and stuff like that.
exactly,
So
exactly.
so
So
that's the
in yeah, it's a good thing. And in the company, like for big companies or production level, definitely you have to use that as well, or else your application will be crashed
yeah.
soon.
Cool.
Okay, so next use case is also going to be very interesting. So let me show you guys what will be the use case. So next use case maybe. Uh, okay, so now I'll be going to find a property, and as I mentioned that I'll be going to use some sort of input and dynamically like generated parameterized query will be happen. So what is happening now? So if else if request from submit equals to find query, find property. Why I'm writing like this? So again, if I open the index.html, so I have multiple buttons over here. So every button has a value, and for this button I have a set the value is find property. So that is why I'm using this is very basic stuff. You guys can do other things for your convenience, but I'm just going to correlate between how you can actually interconnect this thing between Python Flask and your
Neo4j.
Cypher
Yeah.
queries. Okay, so what am I? Okay, fine. So see what is happening here. So same thing as I mentioned, I have written this query a few minutes ago. The same thing. Whatever user is going to input, that will be captured here. Request.form name. Why name? The text field I have given name actually. If you see here, there is a text field and his name is name. So I'm just going to hold this thing as a name and I can show you guys. So it's here, enter the person is a placeholder, and the moment I click this button, it is going to generate the result. So let me go back to here and what is happening here. So until this part, again, this is same. And the parameter, initially I just created one random variable X, but here I'm just using parameter. So
Yeah.
just because I'm giving a dollar name, so I'm just have to use the same name. And name means this one, this variable. So in the last time in the Jupyter notebook, I use a constant value or static value, but here if you see, I again make it dynamic. So everything is dynamic here, like normal application kind of a scenario is there. And this is going to be run with this additional query parameter, and this query parameter is going to hold this dictionary, and after that based on the result it is going to hold this name and city. I know you guys might ask like if I have multiple numbers of thing, this what is going to happen. So I didn't cover this use case. Probably that is a good thing. You can do some sort of for looping and kind of you can limit that thing, and you can create some sort of additional for loop if you're having multiple objects, how to do. But as I told you, the simple use case I'm going to cover. So I'm just assuming that in my graph database, the name is actually unique at this moment, and whatever I'm going to give, it is only going to give only one object. Okay,
Yeah.
nothing
Yeah.
else. And after that, I'm just going to use this thing. So in the last tutorial, I have shown you guys how to render template using JSON, but there are some cases where you don't need to template using template. You can use Python phrase like feature f string, and how to use HTML tag or something like that. I think it is not required. Okay, so name lives in city means the guy who lives in city. So what I'll do, let's do something.
By the way,
Uh,
Ronnie, the Sai is here in the chat as well, who recommended me to you, you to me actually. So hi Sai, thanks a lot for recommending Ronnie's channel to me, and so see we have after only a few weeks later we have him on the show, which is really cool. So thanks a lot for that. Yeah, cool. So
okay.
show us how we can see the results in the HTML.
Yes, exactly. So let me run this thing now. So probably I can use one by one name. So first we'll run this thing. So I live in Cologne. So just because Michael mentioned, see, I'm going every time back. So this is not a good practice, but just set up the tempo and everything, I'm just using that way. But you always should use session and every different endpoints for all your like APIs, right?
Yep.
So next thing is Rob. Rob lives in London, and let's try to use Stephen. So Stephen lives in Cape Town. So
Yep.
if you see whatever you are going to put, it will come.
Yep. Cool.
So fine. So the same thing is happening here. So in this case, no ginger template. It is going to be print inline in the HTML. Like I'm using f string, and in f string in Python you can using this curly braces to put your variable, and after that you can do this thing. Okay. So the most important and use case is going to be our social media network use cases. So probably you guys see might know already that Facebook and LinkedIn also uses Neo4j, and if you find someone randomly in LinkedIn, you will get some number, first, second, third. What is that? That is the degree of the connection. First means that guy is already connected to you and you are having direct connection. Second means this guy is connected to one of your mutual friend, and that mutual friend is connected to that guy. So in between there is one person. So that is why two. Three means in between there will be two more guys are available. So you are connected to someone, someone is connected to someone, and that person is connected to two. So you can like explore multiple number of social media use cases using Neo4j, and even in Uber or some other companies also do some sort of like analytics based on this Neo4j. Okay, so
Yep.
this is social media things are going to be very useful use cases, but in this use case, I'll
Yep.
just going to give you guys some sort of very basic, but again fundamental intuition, so that you guys can apply this thing to extend an expert, like kind of extend your knowledge. Okay, so what is happening here? So I'm just going to find who is actually my friend, or who is the friend of Rob, or who is the friend of Ronnie, or who is the friend of Jason. So, so what is happening? So see here, the same thing. But here I'm just going to use the pattern comprehension. Might you guys might already know what is pattern comprehension. So see, again I'm using this variable here. So name that is coming from the text box, and after that I'm just creating this pattern comprehension, or giving the cipher this pattern to give me a match. So it means it is anywhere connected. I'm not mentioning it is inward or onward. Like whether I send him the friend request or he send me the friend request, doesn't matter. We are friend actually. So that is why I didn't mention the arrow. And after that, I'm just going to return this b.name, and it will be names. And after that, I'm just unwinding this thing, because this is going to be kind of a list. And after that, I'm going to print the names. So this is normal cipher thing. Okay. And after that, what is happening? Same thing here. So I'm just going to hold this names inside a like variable name, and after that I'm just created I have created one blank list here, and I'm just putting all my friends name inside a list. Okay, and after that I'm checking if the count of this list is greater than 0, it means I have a friend. Then only I will go and render this template. If the count is not greater than 0, I'm just going to print there's no friend, or if I might print something or type something invalid person. So list of friend means again list, and how to do this thing. Let me show you guys. So here, so again for list item in list, again if you see, I'm just doing Python like for looping, but again, it is happening in the HTML with the help of Python, sorry, with the help of Flask and Jinja template. And here I'm actually writing name of friend is a kind of constant string, and inside that I'm just using this variable, what do you say,
Yeah.
like braces to get this item. So if you go here, so this list is going to hold this list, okay? And here actually we are doing for looping to print each and every item. So now we'll see from here what is happening. So let's say, let me write some invalid name first, okay? So see, no friends or invalid person. So like this, and if I write my name correctly, so see, name of friend is Stephen, name of friend is Rob. So I can validate this thing here. So Ronnie has two friends. See, Ronnie is connected to Stephen and Ronnie is connected to Rob. Okay, I'm not checking this one because this is actually in between. There is a one more node is available. So he's not my friend. Jason is my friend of friends. So we can do this thing in the next session if you guys are interested. So and depending on the response, we can create that use cases as well, or maybe you guys can also do it some sort of practice. So okay, so next thing is that I will check what is my
I have one
thing.
question. Can you show how you would also pass the name of the person that was requested to the template as well, so that we can also use the can show like friends of name are these and these people, just to show how to do
You
that
mean
for the folks. So basically,
you mean
just
here?
no. I meant down there where you render the template. If you just pass
Mhm.
uh, comma name equals name there.
Here.
Yeah. So if you put name equals name, so you get the name for the person that was
Oh,
put
okay,
in.
okay, okay. Understood. You mean here, right?
Yeah. And then we can
Like this?
show whose friend they are in the HTML page, right? In the results,
Okay.
friends HTML. So
Yes. So you can,
behind results probably, right? Because
yeah,
you don't.
anywhere.
No, but you're in a loop now. You don't want to do it in a loop. You need to do it before the loop, right?
Oh, okay, okay. Understood, understood. Okay, okay, right. Switch to and probably. Okay, so name, I think I gave the correct name. Name is name, and it is going here. Name is legal name. Okay, I think this name is not this name. This name is coming from here actually. So I need to
Does this work?
use different name. I need to use this name because I use the same variable name two times.
Ah, okay.
Uh,
Or you just overrode it in the loop, yeah.
yes, yes, yes. Name requested here,
Ah,
and
okay.
after that, name requested this parameter name will be name underscore. Sorry, here requested, and probably here also I like to use name requested, right? I think I did a no spelling mistake. Let's see. Okay, perfect. uh, okay,
Super. Yeah. Cool.
so in this way you can do this thing as well. So let me check what else is still pending. No. Yes, fine. So okay, let me check for Rob because Rob has friend as well. So see Rob, Jason, and Ronnie. Let's check for Stephen. Stephen has some friend as well. So Stephen is only friend of Ronnie. So good. Okay.
Cool.
So I believe let me just run through the slide as well. So let me check if I put the code over there or not. Okay, yes, right. Code is also pasted over there. So one more thing just I would like to mention. So guys, if you would like to explore this use cases more in detail, then probably in Cypher documentation, just search for pattern comprehension. So there everything is like very mentioned very nicely with the degree of connection, in degree, out degree, and you can even like do some sort of like your own social media analysis by getting some data sets from Kaggle or somewhere, because this sort of data sets are available within Kaggle. So if you're working with some sort of analytics driven program, or you just want to explore how your cipher knowledges are actually going to help you in your future job or whatever project you are working. So data is already available in Kaggle. I'm not having the link at this moment, but after this session I can give you those
Yeah,
links, because you can
please
get
share
some
the
sort
link.
of raw data. So, and after that you can just play around those data by dumping inside your graph. Okay, that will be going to be very useful.
Yeah,
So
cool. For the code, do you have the code somewhere on GitHub or so that people can have a look?
exactly, I was checking that code is also already published here or not. Uh, no, not no, I didn't mention the code, so I will share the code as well. Uh,
If you can share
you
the
want
link
me?
now, I can put it into the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
chat.
Let me just do it. So I'll do it now. Okay. So demo. Let me- So this is the thing. Where can I paste
I'll
in
paste it
chat?
into the chat. I'll do it.
Okay.
Don't worry. It's all good. Cool. Sounds good. And if anyone wants to contribute back to the repository, then feel free to do
Exactly.
that. So, by the way, the list comprehension for this use case might be a little bit of an overkill. So usually you would just do a pattern match and use that. But it's good to demonstrate list comprehensions
Hmm.
and unwind as
Hmm.
well, right? Um, cool. So I shared the link to the repository in the chat as well. Any questions from anyone in the chat? So someone asked about machine learning and Python. What are your recommendations there, Roni? If someone wants to get started with machine learning and Python, do you have
So,
any?
see, first thing is that don't get overwhelmed with the humble request. Actually, I actually faced the same thing for initially 2 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so these buzzwords. Okay, but just try to understand one thing. I'm just giving you the clear like opinion, and this is how the industry works on machine learning and Neo4j together. So first of all, like just try to learn any of the language, programming language. I don't know whether you are already having some sort of expertise or not, but I'm just thinking you are starting from a mid-level guy. So any of the language is going to be help you. Having some basic ideas of mathematics, like linear algebra and all, and after that you can just plug and play with some sort of data set is available within Kaggle, and after that try to implement all those sort of things with Neo4j. I'm just going to give you one very basic example of Neo4j and machine learning together. This is how the industry work. Then you will be able to understand. For example, there is a very important use case in company wide for cyber security, that you have to prevent on a real time an exfiltration attack. So exfiltration is nothing but when an attacker is trying to send some malicious, not send some malicious, it is trying to send some internal data to outside. Okay,
Yep.
and how you want to like check that? So for example, the moment one IPS established connection to your internal network, one two node has been established between one relation, and after that, if you see there are multiple connection is like multiple nodes are getting connected, means multiple IP address. It means the single node is now connecting to the multiple IP address. It means it is actually creating multiple relationship, like in a Neo4j terms. So
Yep.
by that pattern, you can create an algorithm for your exercise that whenever an employee is joined or connected to the network, he generally doesn't do that. He generally works in his local workstation, and after that, if he's working for a client machine, he just do remote desktop connection and he does work. But after connecting to that machine, if it's connecting to 10 numbers of different IPs which is not part of the organization, it means something malicious happened. So immediately block the connection. So this sort of real-time analytics or based on machine learning algorithm things can be developed using Neo4j. And even in banking sector, they do fraud analytics or loan approval application even using Neo4j. So there is nothing special, nothing you can jump on and try to explore. So if you're familiar with all this stuff before, like any of the programming language is enough. And after that, if you're familiar with a little bit of analytics or mathematical theory, and after that, I think in learning Cypher and Python, it doesn't make any lot of effort for you. So if you know these three things and if you are following the data sets which is available in Kaggle, I believe it's okay. But again, there are very nice materials are available in community side. I don't even get much time to read those things, but these materials are awesome. For example, I just want to highlight one thing. Last week we have a webinar from a guy from Neo4j engineer from Israel. I just forgot the name. Sorry for that. But
Gal.
he also demonstrate one live demonstration using machine learning
Mm-hmm.
and Neo4j how to prevent one attack.
Yeah.
So that is the use case. Like I'm just referring to that use case only because this is one of the very important use case, and mostly the companies across different banking sector or other sectors are using that only. So if you follow these steps progressively, you will definitely achieve your like goal one day. But don't try to try this thing random because machine learning can be available on any sort of technology until and unless you are not having your own data and if you are not clear with the algorithm, it doesn't make sense. But again, nowadays Python is having rich libraries, so you don't have to develop or build your own logic. After putting that dot, it will give you all the methods and everything is done. So again, and that is also a way of doing this thing. But if you want to learn it from the very basic level to a master level, then I believe this is the right way of doing this thing. Learn any of the programming language, learn Cypher, just play around with some data, and after that decide which way you want to go, whether cybersecurity, analytics, or smart factory, or retail, or whatever. Then
Yeah.
n numbers of materials are available. So this is
Yeah.
how you can achieve your goal and success.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. So you should definitely know what you're doing, right? So what's actually
Exactly.
quite interesting is with the new graph data science library for Neo4j, you can use the data that you have in Neo4j to compute a lot of additional features of your data, especially features that are based on topology and things like that. So where you can then use these features, for instance, to train a model, for instance, from scikit-learn, or so to
Yes.
predict things or classify things as well. And the new version of the graph data science library has now also graph embeddings, which is also a really interesting area. So if you're interested in that, let us know, and we can do also a session on machine learning and data science in the future as well. Cool, sounds good. So thank you so much, Roni, for all of your examples and explanations.
Mm.
Any closing words from you? Anything that you want to recommend to people? Of course, check out Roni's YouTube stream. Definitely
Yeah, that is
something,
definitely thanks, Michael, for
something to
mentioning
look
multiple
for.
times. Yes.
And if you have any requests, please comment on the videos
Yep.
for the
Yep.
recording.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
or you can also
And if you
ping.
have any use cases, like whether you are working student, I got multiple requests from various students. They are doing graduate or masters. They are having this sort of things. Like yesterday, I got a request that he want to integrate blockchain with Neo4j. So I even have no answer, like how to answer their question immediately. But again, I will do it. So guys, if you are having anything in your mind, if you want me to create videos or whether this Neo4j platform or whether in YouTube, you can write me. I'll always try to improve my contents and quality. So that
Yeah,
is how
cool.
I improve
Yeah,
myself.
contact Ronnie on LinkedIn, and he's also doing consulting and teaching around Neo4j and lots of other topics as well. Cool. Thank you all. Thanks Daniel. Thanks Terry. Thanks Stephen for staying with us. And so I'll see that you are interested in machine learning data science. So I'll try to get a session going, perhaps next week's, but in one of the next weeks that has machine learning and data science and graph data science. Um, I initially shared in